actually let my vice chair, Tim Martin, run the meeting tonight. I'm a little, not myself tonight, so I'm gonna let him do that so I don't have to think about it as much. So he's gonna run the meeting tonight. Thank you.
All right, so I'd like to call to order the meeting of the M.S.A.D 49 Board of School Directors, Thursday, March 21st, 2019. Roll call, please.
Here.
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 Here. She's here.
Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, up next we have citizen input. This is the time where we give the community the opportunity to speak. Just going to ask that we be courteous, respectful, and there's a lot of people here tonight, so we may limit the time. Anybody who would like to speak, now's the time. Mr. Kinley?
As Chairman Martin, members of the board, my name is Stuart Kinley. I'm a resident of Fairfield. I was troubled recently to learn that the Reading Recovery Program may be eliminated. The program has served the district well for more than 25 years. It was instituted back in the early 90s. I came on the board in 1990. In 1992, Reading Recovery was instituted. At that time, the district had approximately 4 dozen literacy tutors, and their job was to pull students out of class and work with them on the reading. And it was a program that was not working very well. We instituted the Reading Recovery Program in '92, and I am pleased to say that I think it has made a tremendous difference in the district. One of the problems back in 1990 was that this district academically and on test scores was at the bottom of the heap. One way of saying it is that the normal distribution that you would expect of students was skewed. We had a disproportionate number of underachievers, and our bottom half was closer to 3/4 of the total population. I feel strongly that this group is an important group, needs to be served. District taxpayers are very heavily taxed, and that they have consistently over the years supported education. And I think Reading Recovery, which was instituted by the board back in '92, has gone a long way to succeeding in bringing the district up to a respectable level. I remember, I think it was 2 months ago, that Assistant Superintendent Herson mentioned that the SAT scores were above average here. I give a lot of the credit to Reading Recovery. When it was instituted, I went and actually observed the class here in Albion. Mrs. Hinckley Gordon working with the student, and I was blown away. The neat thing about Reading Recovery, as contrasted with literacy tutors, was that it didn't go on forever. It was a very intensive program, worked for a specific period of time, worked with underachieving readers. It was one-on-one, and there was a high level of accountability. I think that what I would like to ask of this board is that you look very carefully at the Reading Recovery Program, and unless and until you can find a program that works better, I would strongly urge you to keep the program. Thank you.
Anybody else at this time for citizens input? All right, we got a big crowd tonight, so we'll move on to, I'm sorry, vote to approve the minutes. We skipped this section.
Yes.
Somebody move it.
I need a motion to accept the
I
minutes.
make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 9. All opposed? Abstaining? 3. Okay, so we got some special guests this evening. We've got a number of students that have excelled over the winter. We're going to go ladies first, so we'll bring up our Coach Greg Chesley and introduce our ladies girls basketball team. They had another great run into the playoffs this year. Coach Chesley, can you please introduce your girls for us? Yeah, bring them right up so we can have them on camera. Welcome, girls.
So going through members, starting down there, Megan Curtis, Lydia Townsend, Savannah Weston, Victoria Dunphy, Lauren Barnes, Keegan Alley, Melissa Moore, Miranda Lambert, Brooklyn Lambert, Sarah Powai, Lauren Hume, Emily Hagley. Assistant coach, Joe Higgins, and Greg Chesley.
And up next, our boys, our Eastern Maine champion boys. Come on up, Coach Peller.
You just need to do something, yeah?
Okay. Number one, thank the board for taking time to have us here, have both the teams here. You have some student athletes that work very hard, both in practice, and I can speak on behalf of the boys and what they did. We weren't the tallest team. We probably weren't at times, maybe not the most talented team on the court. We had some very talented individuals, but what we did become is what Bulldog Country's all about, Bulldog Pride's all about. We became the toughest team, and we hustled and outworked most of the teams that we played. So I'm very proud of this group, and hopefully it was a group that SAD 49 and Bulldog Nation could be proud of. Thanks again for having us. I'll introduce the boys now. Down on the end, Jackson Dudley, Seth Pellerin, Nick Pomelo, Nick Robertson, Gavin Heron, Dylan Martin Hashi, Jake Madison, Kobe Nato, Dylan Coombs, Zach Nickerson, and Adam Dupre.
Thank you, guys. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Both boys and girls.
We have the list.
All right, at this time, we'd like to bring up our mid-Maine technical students. We've got a bunch of award winners, so if we can have Ms. Carlton, please introduce them.
I wrote things down so I wouldn't forget. My name is Beth Carlton. I'm the Student Services Coordinator at Mid-Maine Technical Center, and want to thank the board for allowing us to show off some of our students. And personally, I live in Fairfield, and my kids go to this school district, so I'm a little bit partial, but these are some of our best students. So we just want to take a moment to recognize them. MMTC is a member of Skills USA, which is a national organization that allows us to encourage our students to participate in competitions that are directly related to what they're studying at the Tech Center. And we have a local competition every January where we have over 100 students right in Waterville at our Tech Center that are competing. The students that are successful at that local competition, like these students, are then able to go to the State Skills USA competition. And a lot of people don't understand what a big deal that is, but there's over 900 students from around the state of Maine that compete in Skills USA from 26 tech centers from across the state. And these students that you see here from Lawrence are those that won medals at the state level, which is a huge accomplishment. It is not easy to do. They're going up against some other very talented students. So I'll just introduce them to you real quickly. Some of them couldn't be here tonight, but Jackson Fortin, he's a senior at Lawrence, and he won a bronze medal at the state skills competition in carpentry knowledge. And next, he's been with us for 2 years in the construction program, and after he graduates, he plans to attend UMA to study architecture. So congratulations. And Zachary Hart, down on the end, they're all seniors, which is sad for us, but he is in the information technology program at the Tech Center. He won silver at the state skills competition in mobile robotics, which is amazing what all of these guys can do. Next year, Zach is going to be attending Southern Maine Community College to study computer science. Kayla Brown is in the Emergency Services Program at MMTC, and she won a silver medal at the State Skills Competition in Job Skill Demonstration. And in that competition, students are encouraged and expected to teach something to the judges. And she taught infant first aid and CPR, or infant CPR, and it was incredible to win a silver medal, and that is, it's amazing. So she's planning to work after graduation, and then is going to continue her education in nursing after that. And Hunter Dusso is in his second year in the information technology program with Mr. Grenier, and he actually won gold at the state skills competition in mobile robotics for the second year in a row. He's got this competition figured out. And he will be a repeat competitor this summer at the National Skills USA competition in Kentucky, where they compete against students from all over the country. It's a huge event. And so next year, I don't want to say it wrong, Hunter's going to be attending KVCC to do his core classes, and then he's hoping to work towards a degree in engineering, which he'll be well prepared for sure. Last but not least, Bryce Scott is completing 2 years at MMTC. He did his first year in criminal justice, and this year he's also in emergency services. And he also won gold at the state competition in job interview. And I heard that he blew the judges away with how well prepared he was for that really important skill. He is also going to be headed to the national skills competition this June to compete in job interview against students from all over the country. Next year, Bryce is going to be attending Eastern Maine Community College to study criminal justice, and he's going to he will pursue a career as a Maine State Trooper. So, we're very proud of them. Thank you for
Same here,
letting
thank you.
us take the time
Thank
to
you.
come
Thank
show
you.
them off. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, up next, new business. Information only. Recently, Ms. Lori Lee gave us a presentation on the Maine DOA Kindergarten Curriculum Pilot Grant, and we've been informed that we will be a recipient of the Maine DOE Kindergarten Curriculum Pilot Grant Program. So, thank you, Lori. And then, next Tuesday, March 26th at Thomas College, we have 2019 Career Development Conference. It's just for info only. JMP. Yeah, that's for JMP. Up next, standing committee reports. I will go first. Educational programs. Gifted and talented program. Required language for program adoption. We have agreed to wait and put that off a little bit further until we have a full program in place to present to you before we just jump into it. The 2018-19 school calendar discussion, that was more based on any more school days, how we would go about approaching what to do with any more additional school days. We've decided that if we have another snow day, we'll implement the same as last year or the year before, where we'll take an extra hour per day. before April vacation to address a full week's 1 hour to handle 1 day of a snow day.
Yep.
Do you have any questions with that, or we good with that?
You're good.
High school graduation ceremony, it will be at Lawrence High School, as discussed. We'll consider other avenues next year and discuss them further as we go along. There will be a new CPR first aid safety course to be offered next year, part of our high school curriculum. And then we also had the band music scheduling discussion. Mr. Hogan came with Mr. Fields, basically just to address some of the needs we've talked about for extra classes outside the core requirements. So band is having a hard time struggling to get students to participate in band just because they have a hard time fitting in their 4-course schedule. It doesn't line up well with the math, science, English, social studies. So we had a discussion about that. We'll have further discussion on how that will help them produce more band members and create more electives for the students as well. And that's all I have for education programs.
The graduation you said in high school, in the junior high, like,
It
no?
will still be at junior high.
Okay,
with all
junior
the high school outside.
Right.
If the weather's.
Yeah, okay. Just as normal then, yeah. You just mentioned high school, that's fine,
Graduation, yeah.
right?
Finance and facilities, Sean?
Yep, so we talked about the budget and how it was coming along, and everybody should have in their packet the initial first, I guess I call it the first draft, with the summarized sheet on the top, and then in the packet was on your table here is the Excel version of all of basically the budget in detail, if you will. And then I think after the meeting, we'll set up a time for all the board, to invite the whole board to our next meeting. So we'll set a date after the meeting. So yeah, we basically talked about how the budget's coming along, and so we got it this week. Update on the gym repair. The gym repair, as far as I know, is still on track. As of the committee meeting, mid-April. I believe that's still accurate, correct, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
so we just had a case of the area bleachers when they were working
Right.
on, so they identified some potential, because due to a mold issue, so we had the company come in, requested to come and do the testing. They found a minor potential existence
Right.
due to the work that they do.
Mhm.
Or regardless of what, I just wanted to do the test and let
Sure.
everyone know about it.
Yep.
The actual entire report is posted at the website, and I was sent
Great.
to all the staff.
Yep.
And also, they're required to do it when they finish the job.
Right.
Do the entire mold
Yep,
test.
good. So that's new developments is the committees. That's why we wanted to bring it up. So, mid-April is where it's still on track. We also went over some contracts. We're gonna make a couple adjustments, minor stuff to make it a little more efficient for our delivery people, and it might save a little bit of our cost. Clinton being Clinton Kerosene. We also talked about the EPA grant, things we're gonna have to discuss when we, as a board, when we go over the budget. And then we had 2 items on lean in school facilities. And that's it.
Any questions for Sean? Policy and planning? Caroline?
Actually, under the rules for student use of cell phones, we discussed that was still a moving target. And the committees haven't reconvened yet to determine what the plan will be, so as soon as they do, then we'll work it into policy. The homework, we've left that pretty much in the handbook rather than the policy. It's pretty much up to, the individual teachers, to determine how much homework they will be given, on evening schedule. And,
Should we leave it in the hands of the individual teacher? That might get us in trouble.
What's the council?
School council.
So, one of the big pieces of that discussion was that when you have a policy that's trying to reach from pre-K to 12, writing a policy on homework that fits the entire district it actually has to be a handbook item because it has to be at the school level in order to make it real. So that was why we decided it's not a required item in the policy. So we'll move it and leave it as a handbook item, which it already currently is.
So we have 3 elementary schools with 3 different handbooks. That's something we should have uniform when it comes to homework.
To review all the handbooks, and I think the elementary schools are pretty well aligned for a common.
And we talked about not just teachers, but also administration being involved in what's in the handbook, so
Yeah.
that would be.
Good.
Do we need to change the way this reads, because it says vote required
Second reading.
second reading, so.
They've tabled it though, so we're not bringing it back for a second.
I just copy paste the last one, my apology.
Okay, so, yeah, so if
Okay.
we could adjust the minutes.
Sure.
So that's appropriate, sure that we don't have to make that
Yep.
motion, that would be great.
All set.
Go ahead. That's it?
No.
Oh, keep going.
As far as the hearing from the visitors, we have, in your packet, there is, under code BBH, there is the bolded is from new changes, and it basically appears to have captured the 3 minutes for the public to bring up any issues they may want to discuss.
And the purpose of, so the purpose of this is just for us to review it?
We're submitting, Vinny is submitting recommendations.
Okay, so are we supposed to be voting on this now?
Well, we'd have to have 2 readings, so.
Yeah, we haven't had any readings, and, I'm wondering why we wanna change this now.
I think, guys, just a review, we're trying to review all of our policies.
No, I know, but why the public participation change in board meetings? I looked around, so first of all, to be clear, we don't have to take any public participation, but we
don't
always
have
have.
to, yeah.
So, as a public-facing board, we're required legally to conduct all our business except an executive session facing the public. So I'm wondering why we would want to change this as we get, with the exception of Mr. Kinley and a few other people, in my now 3rd-year term on the board, I can't, I can't count on all 5 of my digits, the amount of people that have come before us. So I'm not sure why we want to change this.
I would talk a little bit to that, is what we're trying to do is really make it, be very transparent that everybody gets their fair shot, like, one person won't get 3 minutes, one person gets 8 minutes, and then, we really wanted it to be very fair to everyone to speak. Wasn't that we thought we were running over time, it was more so that we thought.
So why not 5 minutes? Why would we only say 3? Why not 5 minutes?
I think 3 was thrown out there initially, and I think we got more talking into the weeds of, like, that we really wanted everyone to get a fair shot and fair,
I know I've been in a meeting before where it was specifically targeted at me for 3 minutes with school counsel here telling me that was the law. Found out it's not, but that was a target 5 or 6 years ago.
Do you want to send it back to them to discuss further?
I mean, I don't know,
But it doesn't say, I mean, it doesn't specifically state the 3 minutes in the policy. It just says it's set. It does?
It does. Yeah, I wouldn't know that, but I was just reading, I was just there, so I want to make sure it really does say that. But,
Oh, yeah, it's on it's on the page behind the one in your packet. So that's the original, and then the one behind it is.
Right, I see that, but
And
it
it
didn't.
says 3 minutes. I thought I just read it.
yes,
yeah, the public, this is from,
Paragraph.
Right.
that's from Portland Public Schools.
yeah,
Just
and
the-
we got very confused.
Yeah,
This is
this
ours,
is
right,
the
yeah,
whole-
okay.
this is the right,
Yeah.
the one. Yeah, I know, it took me, I was like.
Okay.
This is what my college students submit to me, and I'm like, what?
This happened to us as well, we debated.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who's like, what we could do is put some flexibility in the language based upon something like, if there's, you know, a ton of people, right, we have the authority to restrict, and obviously, no accusations of slander or otherwise, right? Kind of like we have to be very careful about what.
Carrie, our bylaw says the chair has a discretion on that, the language in the bylaw.
Yes, the bylaws does state that about the discretion, yeah.
You want to send it back to them further?
I think the intention of adding the 3 minutes was for equity, because absent of that language, you know, there's an opportunity for people to proceed with it's not as large.
Why don't we send it back to make it clear so that we don't have to deal with it in the future?
Yeah, it might just be unless deemed necessary, or by the board chair could say you could use 5 minutes.
We don't like the 3 minutes?
I think we just need to clarify what the 3 minutes would be for. Obviously, if there's not a full house and not a lot of people that want to speak, there's no reason to stop somebody.
I'm going to do research with other schools too, to see what they do with that.
The
Let's
problem is
also,
somebody could drag on for 30 minutes if you don't have a time
That's the
limit.
discretion of the chair.
Right.
Well, see, that's what we didn't want, is
Right.
because that makes the chair become kind of like the
Bad
bad
guy.
guy.
Yeah.
Where like, you know, one person gets to talk 3 minutes, and then, you know, things get kind of hectic and sometimes a little rowdy, you know, and then
I'd like to
suddenly
move it as
somebody
it is.
realizes somebody else talked for 6 minutes.
And I didn't
We
want
can
to
move it as
discourage
it
anybody
is.
for coming, because we often want people to
Yeah.
come, and then we discourage them from coming. I would rather have them come.
Yeah.
You
How about I
like
move
what
it-
you see there now, right? You like
Yeah.
the draft of it?
Think that they can be a part. We
Right.
added this citizen input.
Yep.
Right,
I
for
think
that reason.
we need to allow them to speak. That's
Right, yes.
Mr. Chair.
Kara?
Oh, thanks, sorry, I was like off in La La Land. Yeah, and then if we just can also cross-reference what the bylaws, because I think that's an important thing, just to, if we state that, right? So there
Doesn't
may be
need
some
to go
confusion
back.
about which one takes precedent.
We updated 2 statutes on the bottom. There was one that was in the old policy. We added another legal statute to update, but we can add the,
Yeah,
we should
I
add the
just think,
bylaw
you
language
know,
too, yeah.
And I think there's a question about what takes precedent in this, so I don't want to
Move
introduce
it as it
something
is.
that we already have a bylaw in place for, because then that's redundant in the process.
So, if you look at the bottom paragraph, the second sentence, says,
Dragging
board
this
chair may set a time limit on the length of public comment and continues on from there. Isn't that the flexibility that is being talked about right now inside this discussion?
I think it is, Jeff, but maybe if we put that as the first sentence instead of the second, it will supersede the 3 minutes.
We're getting into the weeds.
I would have interpreted that sentence to mean the whole, like, we have 30 minutes for public comment. And then, you know, we'll take the first 10 people who want to talk for 3 minutes, and after that, you're out of luck. If that's not what that means, then I can understand that, but that's how I interpreted that sentence, about setting the time limit.
Somebody can move it as it is if they want to.
We send it back. More clarification.
I actually want to make a motion to accept it as it is
First reading.
for the first reading.
I second it.
Okay, we have a first and a second.
Any more discussion?
Any more discussion?
Just a question, since it says draft, we just make a note, this is a first reading?
First reading.
It's
Yes,
just-
I'll take the look.
All right, so
Thank you. By the way, yesterday was my New Year, and Lori made a dessert that's sitting here. I was hoping someone's gonna grab it, but it's sitting on the bag.
First reading.
It's, it looks pretty good though.
supper.
It's like a pudding. Anyone wants to get up and grab it? You can-
Pass it around. All right, all in favor of the first reading? Caroline, you voting? Unanimous, 13. All right.
On which ones?
It's been a while on the policy committee, and my friend Stu used to say that we do look into a lot of this, and we do discuss a lot of this in the policy committees. I personally understand that people can't go to all of them now because of the way we've changed the committee meetings. So it's not possible to make them to all of them unless you don't go to the one you're involved in. But we do take into consideration a lot of this, and a lot of time is spent on these policies. So if you have any input and you are able to give it to us before we get to the policy committee meeting, it would be appreciated.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
People back in the meeting to take homework to, where it says second reading, it was sent back to the committee.
Yeah.
But when we met last, the committee has recommended that we eliminate this as a policy. And I believe the board's going to take some action on that.
So for homework, we're taking it,
And I
okay.
have a copy, it's just the whole policy.
Yeah.
Basically, it's going back to each school council, and we presented at the council discussion. Each school had an input on that, so.
So we're
I
gonna,
make a motion then that we strike homework from the policy.
Is it IKB?
Mm-hmm.
I think we delete.
I second.
any more discussion? All those in favor? 13 unanimous.
I'm gonna put it on the website, the flashlight. Homework policy.
No, make homework really big and then policy. I did. You're welcome.
All right.
So our next 6 are all first reading. Are there any changes to those first readings?
No, they're just updates.
Updates.
Are we all okay to accept the first reading with no changes for the next 6?
For the next six.
We did not discuss service increases.
Oh, you didn't?
So,
Okay.
so does that one need to go back to the committee?
Yeah, I didn't have,
Okay.
we didn't have harassment or service animals.
Or non-sexist language.
Right. So,
Actually, I
I don't think we did that.
have other ones.
I think she put another copy there.
yeah,
ones
we
you
didn't get that, so we can't vote on it.
Which ones you missing?
No,
All of the other ones.
I don't have them either.
I don't,
Okay.
I,
Here too.
Oh, because there was
'Cause
no
there's no
changes.
change.
Yeah, so if
Is
we
it-
can,
But we still need to see them.
Okay.
Next time, I'm gonna make copies regardless.
okay, so,
So we're
We
not,
can move
we're
it to
not gonna
next-
take a vote on those, or we don't
Move it to
have
next
them.
time.
next time?
Yes,
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
make sure to make copies. Sorry.
Anything else from policy and planning?
Yeah.
No? Superintendent's report.
Just wanted to share with you the financial reports, the personnel report, and the fact that kindergarten, congratulations to Lori for the kindergarten grant. We provided the transportation for the 17 firefighters from Clinton, Waterville, Winslow, Fairfield, Dover, Foxford, all to take place to the ceremony of Captain Barnes' services on March 10th. Attached a letter from the transportation folks who thanks us for that, as well as the conference, career conference, and the fact that I posted the Mid-Maine Technical Center, all our kids who were a winner of the contest. So wanted to share that with you. That's my report.
You have all your school reports in your packets. All right, other business, vote required. Jacqueline Longley, junior high social studies teacher, should have her resume in your packets. All those in favor?
Who made the motion?
Yeah,
Oh, we need a
for-
motion. No, it's just a vote required, right?
Yeah, but it's still a
We still
motion.
need a motion.
Yeah.
We need a motion.
make a
Can we
motion.
do all three of them together?
Yeah.
or
Can we
just-
do all three together?
Mhm.
No problem with it.
All right.
Karen?
I second it. Right.
So Danielle, you making a motion?
I'm making a motion that we accept
The three.
all three as written.
So Jacqueline Longley, junior high social studies teacher, Jenny Greenlock, Clinton elementary classroom teacher, Crystal Reed, custodian, as her 90-day promotion has been completed.
A question. Who are they, new hires, replacements? What is the?
I think
The social study is a new hire. The Clinton Elementary classroom teacher is a new hire. And Crystal Reed, I believe is a replacement.
Jenny?
A new hire, meaning currently unbudgeted positions.
It was part of the FY19 budget. And the
They
finan-
were budgeted in that.
There were not. We, at the finance committee, we presented where the funding was going to take, how much.
No, I don't remember that being discussed at the finance committee. My concern would be
I don't-
hiring
I don't-
unbudgeted positions now. We're definitely tying our hands for 20 and creating a structural gap to address.
I presented the fact that we desperately need a social study teacher at the junior high school. There's significant class size, classwork issues. There were 5 positions that were cut previous to that. I'm presenting to you a desperate need for a Clinton Elementary School teacher because the significant class sizes are impacting the teacher. What I'm doing as a priority to present to you the instruction line, what we have left, and how we can absorb the remainder of the year. And it's only a desperate plea from the principals, and after visiting a class, to be honest with you, as such a priority, as an urgent need.
I do understand.
Yeah.
And can appreciate that. My daughter's actually in the class.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure the board understands the action that's being taken, is that these are positions that are being basically created this year. And will be required to go
Yes.
forward.
And additionally,
Nothing's required.
we made a very difficult decision last year to reduce three teaching positions. And I just looked at the new presentation of the budget, which is 6.3% over. I cannot imagine that this will be well received. So I too am, and I have to say, quite a bit of conflict, because I certainly want to support the correct educational needs, but also are we spent more than half of our carry forward amount. Is that right? Yes, so we've drained our resources.
Yeah, 2 different issues, if I may.
No, yeah.
Just the fact that the positions included in FY20, to draft the 6%, these positions are included. And we presented a line item FY19, the fact that how much we have left and what we can do to afford it. But we also included a move forward to the next FY20. 6% includes that.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I just don't want to be in the position of hiring somebody and then
Yes.
basically being like, oh, and by the way,
I would,
now we got
do
cut.
have retirement.
I would never recommend that. I think what I'm presenting to you is looking at the FY19 budget for us to see what we have left in instruction line. And then up until June 30th, I'm looking at the priorities, what we need to spend, what we can and should. And I'm looking at this and present it to you as a number 1 priority for FY19, whereas it's also included in the projected FY20. But I'm just presenting it to you. You have every right to say no to it. But I'm reflecting a community that includes the principal, and that includes the teachers that you're well aware. Clinton has 26 or 27 kids in a classroom. So if you don't do anything about it, it's wrong. So I'm just giving you sort of a presentation of what I would strongly believe we can and should do. And I respect, with all due respect, I respect your vote on that, but it just, my presentation to you as a board.
So the funds are there for 19.
Yes.
I want to remind everybody, even though we have a second draft budget, is our second draft budget. And
It's not the final.
I can say for certain, it's not the final draft budget, which isn't out yet. I think we're going to meet the 28th to discuss that. So I understand the concern. I think if the money's there for this year, I understand the concern of a 6.3% increase for next year, but I know that's not the realistic figure. So I mean, we have to decide what's best for our kids today. Any other discussion? We take a vote. All those in favor? Ten. All those opposed? Abstain. 3. Passes.
Thank you. The only thing on the co-curricular, I need to make a correction, is the Heather Johnson is twice. We need to strike the 7th grade softball. That's an open position.
Any motion on those, or those we don't?
Is this
Those are
information
stipend
only?
positions.
I'm sorry?
Yes, that's
Is it-
information.
Is
Yes.
this information only?
Would you like me to read through them, or are you guys good with those? We'll read through them, make them clear. So co-curricular for spring, Tim Alberts, head coach, Lawrence High School track, $5,460. Peter Spears, assistant coach, Lawrence High School track, $2,772. TJ Heber, assistant coach, Lawrence High School track, $2,520. Nancy Weiss, assistant coach, Lawrence High School track, $2,520. Robert Morrison, head coach, junior high school track, $2,688. Susan Morris, assistant coach, junior high school track, $1,400. Rusty Mercier, head coach baseball, $5,040. John Herson, assistant coach baseball, JV coach baseball, $2,772. Stan Trumbley, grade 8 baseball coach, $2,240. Joey Marcoux, head coach, Lawrence High School softball, $5,460. Heather Johnson, JV varsity coach, Lawrence High School softball, $2,520. Greg Chesley, coach, grade 8 softball, $2,240. Gail Buckland, coach, girls lacrosse, $3,360. Daniel Brannigan, coach, boys lacrosse, $3,360. All right, other business, conflict of interest statements. You all looked over your,
Yes, mine needs a correction. I need to
Yes.
add
Sorry
Friends of
about that.
Messalonsky
You told me
watershed.
that last time, I
Yeah.
forgot it, sorry.
It's okay.
Friends of Missalonsky Watershed.
Yes.
And I need to add M.S.A.D.
Still, let's get ready to. Kara?
Oh, I just have a point of information before we
Yeah.
go into executive session. I reviewed the minutes and, our past minutes, and I don't remember the motion coming before the board to switch legal counsel.
We're not even there yet. Let's finish conflict.
I believe that this is our due right, as the board, to approve legal counsel.
We're still in conflict of
Yeah,
interest.
can we finish conflict of interest and then we'll go to, that is other business. Is there anybody else that has company conflict of interest?
You've got to.
Oh, Mr.
Mr. White?
I work for Holes Plumbing and Heating.
Okay.
Before we,
Chair to chair.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the next thing, I would actually like to bring something up. It is something that Tim and I spoke of. As you guys know, that Tim is one of the owners of Benton Family Fun Park, or it's Knockerball, Maine. That's the official. And Tim mentioned this to me, and because it could be a conflict, he's not gonna have any discussion over it. So Tim has offered to a lot of the schools in the area deals to come to the Benton Family Fun Park. Last year, he did not because he felt it was a conflict. It is my understanding that if the conflict is public, so that we've talked about it, we can actually make a motion that he can do business with the school district as long as it's out in the public. So like if why should our kid, the way I look at it is, why should our kids at Benton Elementary, Albion Elementary, and Clinton Elementary not be able to go to Benton Family Fun Park for a field trip if, and I guess our legal counsel sitting here, maybe he can answer this to make sure. If we have a motion that, and he isn't involved in any of it, or the vote, to allow, if the principals or whatever want to choose for a field trip to go to the fun park, is that allowable if we take a vote on that?
As long as the affiliation or the conflict is disclosed to the entire board, and the board then can vote, and it's information based, so as long as it's disclosed, the board can vote and decide to do that if they want to.
That was my understanding, but it's good to clarify it and hear from that. Okay.
I thought they had a, and I'm gonna mispronounce the word, plenary interest, I'm always like. Thank you. That does not come easily off the tongue. That is the issue, that you would have, right, you would receive monies, right? So again, it's one of those things where I think it's a very generous, kind thing to offer, and I certainly like, but at the same time, it raises all sorts of like weird, I think, issues in which we would just be best to steer away from for a variety of reasons.
Well, I was just looking at it as to why should our kids not be able to take advantage, because they have done it in the past, and just because Tim is on the school board should not, disallow our kids.
I didn't offer it last year
Because of that, and I was the one that brought it up, to say that, and to be able to have that, opportunity, because, of that reason, so, and, so, I mean, I would, the conflict is disclosed, he's not gonna have any part of the vote, we can vote it down, but I would actually like to make a motion that if the principals or a teacher would like to go to the Benton Family Fun Park and he offers the exact same rate that he offers to another school, that it's a fair representation, that I would like to move that it's allowed.
I'll second it.
You want me to, I'll take it. Yeah. I can't, can I make that motion and then?
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
And
sorry,
second
let me
motion?
withdraw my motion.
Withdraw the
I'll
second.
remove my second.
Okay,
And I'll motion that anything that's related to the Benton Family Fun Park, if the request comes to us, that we would take a vote as long as we have a fair, open discussion and Tim's involved.
okay. Now do you want to second it?
I thought we were gonna vote in the fact that if it's up to the principals, if the principals wanna,
Then they come to us.
Oh, you want them to come back to us again? I think there's such a time lag that may not give an opportunity where you get to the spring. I don't know, I'm just,
Yeah, if we could, I would rather table this motion, because I'd like to look at it.
Okay.
I'm also, I kind of think it may be not legal, but like in the way we're wording it, so I think we just need to get a better reflection about that. Just,
all right, so,
I'm not throwing it out there.
no,
right, he's not having any discussion, and I'm just running this
I
at
think it
this
is
point.
good to put it on the agenda, then we can make a vote on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
So,
With proper language.
so we have a table, do I have a second on the table?
I'll second that.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded that we table this motion and have it on the next agenda. All those in favor of tabling the motion until the next agenda? All right. And, did I get everybody, okay, 12, 0, 1. Okay,
Thank you.
now it's back to Tim.
All right, no,
Okay, so we're on to Kara.
So point of information, I went back and looked through, since Dr. Neiman has come, all of our minutes and agendas, and I don't remember or see that we
It's not necessary.
agreed to enter into a contract with a new law firm. And that is a stated right of the board to do that. Additionally, I think that there was some communication in which there was discussion that the board chair and vice chair could give this permission to the superintendent. And our bylaws do not assign that. The board chair has no authority. The only authority they are granted are the ones who run our meeting. There's no other authority given. And
It was
I
in-
have, because I'm that type of person.
Okay, well,
I just
I
have
do
to make a
too.
clarification on what you
So-
said, though,
Yeah, no,
if I may.
so I.
Can I make a
I just
clarification?
asking, does anybody remember doing that?
It's, go ahead.
I have to make a clarification on that, if I
Yeah.
may. I did not switch legal, we're still using Drummond Woodson.
Yes, but you hired a new legal firm without
Excuse me,
our.
just-
Doesn't need
Let me
to.
just finish what I'm saying. So I did not switch. According to statute, the board has a right to retain the legal
Yes.
counsel.
Yes.
We have Drummond Woodson. What I decided to do, and I presented, I did not ask both chair and vice chair. As a point of transparency, I just mentioned to them that I'd like to use additional legal counsel in regard to the field and approach that I have, the particular interest that I had in regard to the subject that I was really looking at. And I wanted to have legal counsel that I believe was credible. And we're not going to, in public, discuss the credibility of legal counsel, but I just want to clarify what took place, if I may.
Sure, but I believe that that is not the proper way. And
It was brought up and voted on in session.
you know what?
It was
When?
September.
No, I looked. I went and I looked. You need to show that.
You weren't there.
I don't have the minutes, past minutes, but it was brought up in session.
No, I looked right before I came in. I did not see it. And I'm asking, does anybody have recollection of voting on that? I'm asking my
Is
board.
it- Just to clarify, as a superintendent, I have the authority to seek legal counsel. Do you question that?
You, that, not alone, like, the legal counsel works for the institution, not for you.
Correct, correct.
And so you cannot enter into
Correct.
a agreement with any legal counsel without our authority, which you
Correct.
did.
Clarification, if I may. The legal counsel doesn't work for me. I seek a legal counsel that reference to the district issue.
I understand, and that is, we are the district. The board operates everything publicly in front, with the exception of the few things that go in front of executive session. Everything else, we are required constitutionally, I took an oath, constitutionally, to uphold our duties as board chairs, which
So-
we act as a board, and we have authority to hire legal counsel.
So where in this does it say that we are the only ones that can hire legal counsel? Because I was looking in the statutes book, and I don't see where it says specifically, I mean, and that's why, to me, he is the CEO. The CEO of any organization can choose legal counsel. And in the past, we've never voted on legal counsel. I never, and I've been here 11 years, never voted on Drummond
Because
Woodson.
we never changed this, so we
So,
never needed to.
because we never change, we don't ever have to ever do, we can always do, I'm not gonna get into that,
No,
I'm just
it is-
struggling.
It is a violation of our, I guess that,
I'll make a motion right now that we give the superintendent the authority to choose the
that's
legal counsel.
That is illegal. You cannot do that. It is illegal against what we do as elected officials.
I think, if I may, just before going any further, we have our legal counsel here. The statute is clear in regard to the duties and authority of the board and superintendent. If I may, ask the legal counsel to clarify.
I I don't think it's fair to put somebody on the spot like that, and.
That's why we have a
should
legal
select-
counsel.
We should select our own legal counsel to get representation.
Does it have to be
appropriately.
Drummond Woodson?
That is who we currently have legal counsel with.
I mean,
think
I'm
that
still using them, though,
We're
Karen.
still using them, right. However, we did not vote to bring legal counsel in, and we never needed to before because we only used Drummond and Woodson. And
Which is why they have a monopoly in the state of Maine.
it doesn't matter. It is our legal duty. We swore an oath, a
As a-
constitutional oath, to uphold this.
It's
As-
our right to choose one.
As a board,
So-
as a board.
Okay, let's just get a legal counsel if I may. That's why the attorney's here. Can we get an interpretation or definition of statute in regard to the board's and superintendent's duty in choosing?
Well, what, the school board member raises a good, what I would suggest raises a point of interest is that she's raised a point of interest. There's no emotion that can be brought at this particular moment in the meeting.
Yep.
That we should, and I don't know, I haven't seen the minutes, so I don't know what you approved.
Yep.
But I would
Right.
suggest that we go back and take a look at the minutes,
Right.
and then we'll be happy to report back to the
Yep.
resident school board as to what, if everything's been done properly or if that.
Right, because it would be its own motion within the minutes. I looked, there was not one. Does anybody here remember voting on new legal counsel? Does anybody remember? My peers, answer me. No, nobody remembers that. We were all
You got
amnesia.
people shaking their heads over here that weren't even at the meetings, Kara. Because for the first 3 meetings, some of you sitting there didn't even show up for the
Yes,
first
but-
3 or 4
but
meetings. So, I mean,
We're required under the Freedom of Information Act to publish every agenda and every meeting, and I
Right.
read them. If it's not on there, simply stated, it did not happen.
well,
So the issue is that you believe we have a legal counsel that we need to go for a vote.
Correct.
And
Okay.
what I would suggest is we do RFP, request for proposal.
Correct.
We seek all the legal counsel, and then come forward to you, and you pick the one.
Thank you, Dr.
From the
Thank
three-
you, Dr.
I think that's a point that you made, so I agree with that, and I think that's a reasonable request to do, correct? Or do we have to go Drummond Woodson? I'm sorry.
Was that?
I'm just kidding.
And I apologize, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I swore a constitutional oath.
Sure.
And I am,
And you swore an
So
oath to show up.
we
and do
will,
what you
we
did.
will, if I may, we will develop a RFP, which I will submit to you for you to look at, and then we post it, and then we seek legal counsel that's gonna give us the, just like account to anyone else, and then we will interview them, or perhaps a subcommittee, and then come to the board for the selection. I think that's a fair process.
And additionally, as a last point of order, I have 2 points. One is I would remind us, again, the chair and vice chair have, the only authority they have to run is the meeting. They have no other authority. And in that thing, I would like to actually file a freedom of access, to have access to the communications that you have with the lawyer, so we can be brought up to speed. Because that is what we should have had all along. It is our legal right. No decision should be made. Consultations may be made in discussions, but actual decisions
No dec-
cannot be made without the
No
full-
decisions,
If I may, Carol, the legal counsel was nothing but a legal counsel.
Okay.
no decisions have been made.
Then there should be no problem, is
Yep.
what I'm saying, in
Yep.
that we should be fully informed.
Okay,
Because
so,
we conduct our business
Okay.
publicly.
no-
You're a public
So-
facing board, that is what we swore to do, that is what we upheld.
so we will do that. I think that's a good resolution to that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And, yes,
On the freedom of access request, if you could just put down in writing what it is.
I absolutely will, and I will submit that.
There are some limitations on what you can produce, so that's why it's helpful. to
Yes,
put down.
absolutely, I understand that.
We-
And
Just because many discussions would veer into protected areas that can't be produced,
yeah.
so.
yeah, no, I had questions about attorney-client privilege, but when you work for the, us, so,
No,
But,
the organization. So when there is
No.
that, I think that's the part I'm a little bit
Karen.
unsure on and how that works. And so I would welcome being enlightened.
yeah, I think, Kara, I just have to mention, from day one, I approached the process of restructuring. As you know, a lot of struggles and challenges with the personnel issues. And in that process, I began to seek some legal counsel because I don't want it to jump on making decisions that's going to jeopardize. So that began for that process. I didn't arbitrarily pick the person, but I have a full trust. Just wanted, for transparency, say full trust on the attorney and the firm, and I think it's fair for them to be part of the RFP and then for the board to decide. But that's it. So.
And I will tell you, as chair of the board, I have not made any decision. We've talked to them, we meet usually the Friday before a board meeting to discuss the agenda and what's going on. And if you at any time had wanted to go in and sat down with the superintendent to talk about any of the things, you are welcome to do that as well. And I think that unfortunately, we have had such a breakdown with how some people are either perceived or acting or not participating, that it has come to the point where I can't even,
We want to move forward, where we have a good relationship with the superintendent. You want to be a school system where the superintendent has a good relationship with the chair and vice chair. That's how information gets disseminated. I probably see Shelley.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying through. Because when there's an emergency, God forbid if something happens, Kara, first person I call is the chair. FYI, here's what happened. And then the chair disseminates that out through you. If you want to change that process and do that to everyone, I think the process is, if something happens, I have immediately let the chair know, and the chair communicates out to everyone else. That's a protocol, that's a good relationship. I'm going to maintain that because, as I said, I respect both, and that's because they're chair and vice chair. I see Shelley more than my wife now, because the chair relationship is so much that we have so many issues. She's given so much of her time.
That's what I'm saying, Dr. Naaman.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to point out, which is, I firmly believe that we cannot become a fully functioning, transparent board to help the school district achieve unless there's more equality, recognized equality in every role that we have, because the board chair's only position is to run the meeting, not to, there's nothing in our bylaw which gives other powers and such to other officers. So my point there is that for equity, but also for more accountability, I think I hear what Shelley is saying, and I want to honor that, Shelley. I think that there has been in our board historically, from, this is my third term, that we have had an over-reliance on our board chair, and it has crippled us. So, for us to be fully functioning, we all need to be conversant in our lovely Title 20A.
But
I love it. I read it.
there are some things, I'll be honest with you, there are some things, especially if there was anything that needed to come to the board as a whole to make a judgment on, that cannot go out to the whole board at all the time. Now, and if any, no, I'm not talking specifics. What I'm talking of, if there is anything that, I'm not in the right space to be doing this tonight because I am.
Don't do it, because that is illegal.
That's not what I was.
That's not what you think.
I understand, that's why I'm saying just stop, because.
Kara, can I say one thing if I may, Kara? Before it goes further, can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Would everyone agree to have a legal counsel, independent body, to give all of us, a workshop on roles and responsibilities, the statute?
We did it.
We did it.
Then what's the question?
For when you,
When did we do it?
we did.
When did we have it?
So I would suggest, I think that's transparency. I would
I never heard
suggest
of it.
an open meeting in public, open meeting with an independent body. That could be a legal counsel, M.S.A.D, it could be an association that does independent workshop in public about roles and authorities. And I think that would be, answer your question.
And also that we need to have proof, submitted proof that we have taken the freedom of access you know, right, like you need to go through and do that and take the test that they have online and prove that you understand that. I would also say as part of this discussion, we need to relook at our email policy because emails that we are received as an entire board are essentially a public meeting. And we have many of those. Now, I don't want to say there's anything inappropriate in them, but they are now public, we are a public-facing board. We do not do anything. We do not do anything behind closed doors except an executive session. Everything else is a constitutional.
Which is why we have said not to respond to emails. When I send an email out, or if I was giving information, that information is free to, it's there for freedom of information. And that's, which is why if you start having conversations back and forth, forgetting that, which is why I say, this is the information, please don't respond for that.
I would suggest that us to have a workshop on roles and responsibility, the board needs to have a sort of a retreat that resolves all these
Or
issues.
a public workshop,
Yeah.
because we can't have a retreat.
Yeah,
We can
so-
only meet publicly.
No, I would call it a workshop,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then have independent person that you agree, independent
Yes, I
body.
think that'd be right.
And I
It'd be
think-
great to get a couple of people.
And then we can have open discussion on regard to roles and responsibilities of chair superintendent and be transparent about it. I
And we may
think,
want to update our bylaws appropriately, like,
Yeah.
I think that's part of our duty is to continue, and I want to go back and honor a little bit what Shelley said. When I first came on the board, I got nothing. I was like
I got
blind,
nothing.
blind. Now, I'm a quick study, so, you know, I don't think we should do that anymore. I think that has not served us well in the past, and we have not become a fully functional board in that way. And I appreciate the time we're taking and the honesty to have that, and I want to apologize,
Yeah.
because I don't mean to
We can do
And
blindside you.
we have tried to be very open and honest about many things, and the fact that I have not done what my predecessors have done,
To your credit.
and haven't gavelled down people left and right, like my predecessors did.
No,
And
to your credit.
I feel like, I'll be honest with you, Kara, sometimes I feel like we're attacked and we're constantly going over the same things over and over and over again because people aren't showing up and taking their responsibilities apparently as seriously as I do by showing up at all the meetings, whether I'm sick or not.
No,
So I do feel like I'm being attacked all the time in this position. Since we started in September, after we had a meeting in September, meeting 1, meeting 2 in September, we went over the same things again. Meeting 3, we went over the same things again. Ask our administrators that are sitting out here how many times we went over the same things, time and time again, from September to November. So if I'm short with people right now, I apologize because I'm just frustrated that it feels like we're at a standstill because people are not showing up or they can't.
you talking about people in Augusta?
No, don't even talk to me about Augusta right now. Anyway, so I'm done. Sorry.
But we're gonna do that though. I think it's healthy to have a conversation. We're like a family, we need to grow together and deal with the issues. And I think this is the best way to do it. So that is the,
It has been a tough transition because so many people are used to a former boss and do not want to let go of change. And change is inevitable. It's the best comment I can say. We have had the same man in charge for 30 years. We're in a new direction, new path, and it's not easy for everybody.
Yeah, and as a last comment.
And nothing
I
changes.
enjoy playing watchdog. That's not my preferred role. My preferred role is comedian, not watchdog.
well,
And I
even
probably
the
won't be at
dessert,
the next
dessert
meeting,
that
because
was
I'm
brought
going
in,
to
did
Florida
not
for
help.
3 weeks, and I don't care if
The
they
paper
have
is not-
anything without me.
Didn't no one even remove the paper yet?
I'm
let's
76
move on
years
to the
old,
next-
and I'm out of here as soon as
We're
my
supposed to go
term's
to
up.
executive session.
Yes.
So let's take a 5-minute recess. We gotta
Wait,
clear
do
the
we need to vote and make a motion? We need to vote. So I make a motion that we go into executive session
Pursuant to-
for pursuant to,
On MRS S
MRS.
456E.
yes, thank you.
So I have a motion, I need a
Right
second.
here.
Yeah, I got it now.
All those in favor?